Hello everybody, this is Fronto Bob and welcome to race number 31 of the 2020-21 NROL Siemens National Series season. This is the Orio 250 at the Kansas Speedway. It is indeed time for yet another round in the NROL Siemens National Series playoffs and the season in general. First two rounds of the playoffs have been interesting. We had a crash fest at the All Club Speedway, which was won by Emily, part-timer, and then another crash fest last week at Denver, which was won by Hoopy Lexpulse. Hoopy Lexpulse got a win there and extended his points lead, not by very much though. He's now 13 points above Ryan Sieg, and Justin Haley isn't too far back either, and it just so happens that they are both still in front. So yeah, so here we are at the Kansas Speedway. There's another track that this series raced at before, but we're back here again because we need some tracks to fill in some gaps in the season, those scheduled gaps. So, with that being said, Siemens nice returns to Kansas, but this time it's a day race, and the race is also slightly shorter in terms of distance. So, it should make this race an interesting one. So, with that in mind, let's give you the rundown for this race. So, in the pole for this one is Bob Films on second is Fred McShane, third is Ruby Lexpulse, fourth is Anthony Alfredo, fifth is Ross Sustain, sixth is Ryan Sieg, seventh is Justin Haley, eighth is Anthony Logan, ninth is Austin Murray, 10th is Greg Graff, 11th is Justin Longair, 12th is Jeb Burton, 13th is Sextus, 14th is Chase Briscoe, 15th is Cody Goforth, 16th is Michael Annette, 17th is Henne, 18th is Thomas Massey, 19th is Jose Mills, 20th is DJ Reed, 21st is Keisha Richardson, 22nd is Harris Burton, 23rd is Matthew Brown, 24th is Nathan Mond, 25th is Austin Sinner, 26th is Edward, 27th is Sebastian Coquelin, 28th is Casey Anico, 29th is John Doe, 30th is Damon Blue, 31st is Zachary Fitzwater Sr., 31st is Riley Herbster, 2nd is a John Nigger, 33rd is Brandon Jones, 35th is Noah Gregson, 36th is Emily, 37th is Bob Hunter, 38th is Shane Lamb, 39th is Ernie Irvin, 40th is Wiz Rimmer, 41st is Kate Van, 42nd is Miles Slider. Yeah, running order always the most difficult part to get right. But regardless, that is your starting grid. So, let's see who wins. So, this race is technically starting out right where we left off last week with all these playoff guys up in the fields. You know, none of these guys were actually up here in this race last week, and now a lot of them are back this week. So now that we're a few races in, we have couple drivers who still have a legitimate shot at winning this title, and then you have other drivers who are starting to fall out and need to do some work. Obviously, your big three is now Hoopy Lexpulse, Ryan Sieg, Justin Haley, and even Anthony Logan, who was the points leader for a long time, is slowly starting to claw his way back up to the front. So, Anthony Logan lost on the regular season championship, but he still has a shot to win the overall season championship. Greg Graff, though, also up here. He's currently last of the playoff drivers in the standings, but maybe he can improve his position today as well. So lots of questions to be answered, and they are about to be answered in just a second as the pace car pulls on the pit road, and we come to the start-finish line, and green flag is in the air for the Orio 250 in Kansas. Bob Films with a pretty good start on the inside lane as the field, of course, getting aggressive already. And this is a pretty accident-prone series that we've learned over the past couple weeks, and I think that today isn't going to be much different. So Bob Films is already trying to get on in front to try to avoid any carnage that might happen. And we come to the treacherous turn 4. This is going to be the corner where we might see a number of accidents in this race. And there we go, already the first crash of the day has happened, and it's involved your points leaders. The field already having to slow down as we are immediately under the first caution of the day. You saw in the background, it looks like it did involve Hoopy and a couple of the other points leaders. And Hoopy, last week's winner. Wow, all three of the top three drivers in points all involved in this accident. Wow. So the first crash of the day, as it just so happens, involved all three of the top three drivers in points. Hoopy Lexpulse getting collected and getting into it with Justin Haley and Ryan Sieg and the like. And just like that, all three of your top three in points are now at the back of the field. Wow. Well, we'll line them up and try again. So let's fast forward just a little bit. There's the pace car, who is now just pulled onto the racetrack. Any pit stops? Well, I do suspect that the three that just spun out will likely come down pit road for service, but everyone else should be fine as the race literally just started. Yeah, no one's coming up pit road. Oh, Haley down on the track. Huh, Ryan Sieg not pitting. But who be exposed to Justin Haley obviously having to come up pit road to fix up their cars. Although, the best-ish time to make a mistake is early on in the race. We're only at lap 3 and we still have quite a few laps to go. So we're still a long way out from seeing what's actually going to happen between now and the finish of this race. So we'll fast forward just a little bit. And here they come back onto the racetrack. Now I'll skip time just a little bit. Alright, lights are out on the pace car. Alright. So Anthony Logan is now your highest running driver that is actually running in the playoffs. Yeah, let's see, it's a good thing that we have these playoff banners so we can tell who's actually in the playoffs and who's not in the playoffs. Alright, well, not much time left to fast forward as we are now lights are out on the pace car, which means that we're going green this time by. So Balcom Vooms, to start up front, is going to continue to be your leader. As far as race, although Freer McShane, who was right beside him on the start of the race, has fallen back some spots, but it's only the start, so anything can happen from now to the finish. Alright, pace car pulls off. And green flag in the air once again. And driver's already making moves. Chastain and the like going down to the bottom lane. And just like that, Ross can move up to second. Although here comes Austin Murray. Another pull-up driver trying to make some moves here. Side by side for second. And Austin Murray is gonna have the spot here. Austin Murray now trying to take the lead from Bioco Island Films. Here's another one, Ross Chastain. Chastain, who actually took part in last week's Cup race, wasn't in that race for very long. But here he is now, making waves in the Siemens National Series, and he's actually getting underneath Austin Murray pretty well here. We have a pretty good battle for second between these two. That being said, as we continue to have a battle for second, Bioco Island Films continues to lead the race. Here comes Jeb Burton, a part-timer for Junior Motorsports. Now, also trying to make some waves here. Alright, well, it looks like the field got the crashes out of them from that first lap crash. We've managed to go a few laps here without any cautions so far. That being said, I don't want to speak too soon because there could be a caution literally right now. Little single file for most of the front of the pack. Feel it could just be logging laps before the end of the race. That makes it is quite early in the race, so make moves while you still can. And here he goes, Austin Murray. Now doing exactly that. Tried to get underneath Ross Chastain, but couldn't keep the car. Couldn't keep his momentum through the corner. And actually, Jeb Burton as well. That's actually caused Jeb Burton to slow down a little bit, as Jeb Burton was trying to get around a slightly slow going Austin Murray. And ultimately lost his line. And that has allowed Chase Briscoe to move up a couple spots. Anthony Logan here as well. And here is Tyler Tomasi, who just last week I was just talking about. And just the very next week he's up here again. And here's Ross Chastain, who is now right behind Bioko Island Films. And Colin Grayson does have a bit of a partnership with Tobon Motorsports. So these are technically teammates going at it with each other. And the caution looks like it's just come out. And meanwhile, Chastain just trying to get a run on Bobcon Films, couldn't do it. And Austin Murray's going to go beneath him. But not quite in time as the caution is out. We came this far, but we're under caution once again in Kansas. Ooh, can't drive, going really slow here. The field, though, woeing up just in time before some crashes could have happened. But, with that in mind, we didn't even see the crash that time, so let's now go back in time and see what actually happened to bring this one out. Alright, so lights went on then. And the crash happened, I imagine it's turn 4. Yeah, oh, another! Wow, Ryan Sieg involved in yet another accident. This time, though, with no other playoff drivers. Oh, and it wasn't even his own fault either. He just was in a bad place at a bad time. And what is that? Chastain and others. Oh, Justin Haley. What happened there? Hubi Lexpos. Man, these points they just can't seem to stay out of trouble. So Hubi Lexpos. Ooh, Hubi Lexpos just narrowly avoids an out of control Justin Haley. But Justin Haley not able to avoid anything. And just going way too fast here is going to crash right into a slow going Myatt Snyder. And Justin Haley, who is currently second in the point standings, is now out of this race. And that is going to have some championship implications. Ryan Sieg also with some damage. But let's see what the initial cause of that was. It was just... yeah, it was just a matter of Ryan Sieg being in a bad place at a bad time. It actually started out with Nathan Mon and Noah Gregson, who just went way too high in the corner. And they both hit the wall. And John Doe with in a bad place as well. And then Myatt Snyder got taken out as well. And ultimately, there's Myatt Snyder, another victim of the accident. He's likely done for the day. John Doe as well, just trying to get his way through here. But that is Justin Haley with a blown engine. That's going to have a negative impact on his championship run. So Justin Haley unable to avoid trouble. That might have just cost him the championship. So then let's see who's going to pit and who's not going to pit. So most of the guys are going to be staying out. Ooh, Freeman Chain though coming in. Not sure why. Perhaps make an adjustment, get some fresh tires. The Mon coming up pit road as he was involved in the accident. Harrison Burton and John Doe coming down the road. I think Harrison Burton also got a bit bruised in the crash. But I tell you what though, this crash is none more severe to anyone else than Justin Haley. Because Haley was right there in the point standings with Hubi Lexpos. And now he's got quite a lot of work to do over the next few races if he wants to have any chance at winning this title. Oh, what's up with Bob Collin Films? Watch what's up with Balcon Films. He's the race leader. I don't know why he's on the apron. It's a bit weird. Huh. What's up with Balcon Films? Your leader. Coming on the pit road for seemingly no reason. Must have had some sort of car problem. Wow. Somehow Motorsports didn't give him a good car, I guess? Let's go back a little bit in time and see what happened. Oh. Was he meant to come down pit road, but he didn't come down in time? I guess not, but Balcon Films coming down pit road for seemingly no reason at all. But that's going to allow Ross Chastain to inherit the lead here. So Ross Chastain will be your new leader on the restart as Balcon Films pitting for seemingly no reason. I have no idea what's happening. And lights on the pace car, so we'll be going green next time by. And with that, Balcon Films now off the track. Oh no, never mind, there he is. So Balcon Films, who came on pit road, has now gone from the front of the field all the way to the back. Is this a strategy move or just a car problem? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I have no idea what's up with Balcon Films. Well, I guess maybe we'll spectate him as the race goes along. In the meantime, oh, you'd think maybe it could be for Huber Lexipulse? They are teammates. Interesting stuff happening in this race. Well, regardless of that, green flag is back in the air in Kansas. Hülkenberg with a horrible launch, and as the full field tries to get around him. Hülkenberg supposed to join in with the pack. Anyways, let's watch what happens at the front of the pack. As here comes drivers already going too wide. Here comes Chase Briscoe around Austin Murray for second. Pretty good stuff here. And Tyler Tomasi on the inside line. Also, two playoff drivers here as well. Austin Murray and Anthony Logan using this race now as an opportunity to try to advance their position in the point standings. They really need to, because some of these guys are really far back. But now that your main competition, well, your main competition for these guys is now in the back of the field, they have a shot to move on up and have a chance at this championship. Meanwhile, though, some guys just want a chance to win. As here's Tyler Tomasi up here. Tyler Tomasi has been irrelevant for the vast majority of the season. He has appeared up here now and again, but overall, just nothing really special from Tyler Tomasi this season so far. Could he change that today? Meanwhile, it's still battling Anthony Alfredo. Trying to move up a couple spots, but he's surrounded by a bunch of playoff guys. Greg Graff, Matthew Brown getting into this fight. But meanwhile, it is Ross Chastain, who just a little while ago, Chastain was running down Balcon Films. Oh no, actually no, Chastain actually got saved by the cautions. Actually, Austin Murray was on the inside of Ross Chastain right as the caution came out. So that actually saved Chastain, and as a result, Chastain has now managed to lose himself into the lead. Chase Briscoe, though, continuing to hound him. And Tyler Tomasi continuing to try to have a say in this fight as well. Tomasi goes the inside lane. And Tyler Tomasi, with a very smart move on Chase Briscoe, goes to the inside lane. And overtakes him. And now Tyler Tomasi going after Chastain. Chase Briscoe, though, not giving up just yet. Chase Briscoe. Oh, there we go. Tyler Tomasi now successfully cleared Chase Briscoe. And Anthony Alfredo also in this line. Alfredo, another driver, now attempting to overtake Chase Briscoe for third. And he does so. Anthony Alfredo, a part-timer, trying to advance his career at Regis Racing. And Alfredo has been irrelevant for most seasons as well, but it looks like he decided to show up late in the game. And by game, I mean the whole season. And now here he is in third. So Chevy now runs 1, 2, 3. And is that... Oh, okay. So I did indeed hear a lap car, and that lap car is Can't Drive. And another interesting point about Can't Drive is Tyler Tomasi goes for the lead here. Tyler Tomasi now beneath Ross Chastain on the back straightaway. And Tyler Tomasi in a pretty good spot here. And Tyler Tomasi takes the lead just before the halfway point in Kansas. And as I was about to say about Can't Drive. Now, Can't Drive, you would have forgotten that Can't Drive was in last week's race because there were just so many cautions in last week's race that Can't Drive could never really play a part. Well, this race, though, we have gone mostly caution-free, mostly. And the Can't Drive could actually impact this race. Meanwhile, Tyler Tomasi, right as he took the lead, he immediately loses it, as for some reason going the high line, which results in Anthony Alfredo now taking the lead. And Austin Murray, a driver who I don't think has won anything this season, is now in prime position to do so. As well as another thing worth mentioning, of course, Austin Murray, a playoff driver, this will really help his championship chances. But as of at the moment, though, Anthony Alfredo is your leader. But here is Can't Drive. How quickly they can go by? Oh, Anthony Alfredo hits the brakes. Anthony Alfredo hits the brakes. And Can't Drive causes the whole field to bunch up. Oh boy, this could lead to an accident. And the whole bottom lane is now getting around Can't Drive. And that is totally changed up this field of drivers who were just up once up front are now all the way in the back. As my friend is trying to drop from look at that big pack. Let's not look at that. But Anthony Alfredo keeps the lead. Here comes Matthew Brown. Matthew Brown, though, a two-time winner, both of his wins came in the 2 Australia races. Matthew Brown actually with a pretty decent shot at winning the title, but of course he has to improve his position in the points, and well, this race is pretty good for that. And is that another lap car? Yes, it is. Noah Gragson, who was involved in the accident earlier. He could be another roadblock, and yes, he will get another roadblock on the field. Oh, no, they quickly get around him, but it is allowed Matthew Brown to squeak his way underneath Anthony Alfredo. And Matthew Brown are doing everything they can to get into the lead. Here comes Henne and Texodus. A number of interesting drivers up here now. And then they're going 3 wide for second, or for third or something. And Anthony Logan hits the wall. I mean, not Anthony Logan. Austin Murray hits the wall. And that has caused some evasive maneuvers that have had to happen there. Let's see. Looks like most people did a pretty good job at avoiding that. That could have been a crash. But fortunately, it wasn't. But let's see what actually happened to cause that. So it was... Yeah, I knew this move wasn't going to work, though. Let's see what happened. Yeah, Austin Murray just went way too high. And he actually hit the outside wall. And was an accident pro corner. Fortunately... Oh, Anthony Logan, though, involved as well. And Case Nico having to do some evasive maneuvers. But fortunately, everyone was... Never mind. I thought for a second that the field was able to save it, but they couldn't. Alright, well anyway, so let's now actually go back a lap because we need to watch straight back to the line, as I was so busy focusing on what happened there. We now need to focus on what happened following that. So cars comes out this time by. So Matthew Brown has the lead here, but it looks like he's about to have a bit of a bout here with Anthony Alfredo. As so race each other really hard here, and Anthony Alfredo is going to throw his car beneath Matthew Brown in order to regain the lead. And cars is out, so here we go, race back to the line. Anthony Alfredo is beneath Matthew Brown, and here they go side by side through turn number 4. And it looks like it is going to be Anthony Alfredo who will win the race back to the line. Nice job. And with that, it's time to slow it down once again as we are under yet another caution in Kansas. And there is Who Be Lexipulse. Man, this race has now turned the championship fight on its head. So let's go back in time a little bit and see what actually happened to bring out this caution. I thought for a moment that they were going to be able to save it, but ultimately they couldn't. Unless that crash may have had to do something completely different. So let's actually see what happened. Oh, Austin Cynic with a roll, but let's actually see what happened. Oh no, it did have to deal with that. Who started? Oh, actually, multiple guys started it. You have Talent Tomasi extra out here with Damon Blue. They were just way too low on the track. And ultimately, they came back up onto the racetrack at a really, really bad time, which caused massive amount of confusion delay. And Tyler Tomasi. And they're still wrecking, still piling in. Big, big pile up. Wow. And Tyler Tomasi, just a few seconds ago, was up in the lead. He is now not in the lead anymore. Obviously, and this has also sent Austin Cynic into a roll. As you see here. Cynic is well in a bad place, a bad time, gets into the wall, hits the outside wall. Casey Richardson involved, and Dan Blue as well. But of course, since they are now right in the middle of this pack, the crash isn't over, and now BioColumn Films, if you look at BioColumn Films, who for some reason pitted and was back in 32nd, let's see how BioColumn Films is able to navigate his way through this crash. And actually does it pretty well. BioColumn Films with a pretty good job navigating his way through that. And BioColumn Films still in the show. But of course, the driver's not in the show anymore. Bob Hunter, John Doe, and other drivers involved. And Ryan Sieg and Who Be Lexipulse involved in this one. Wow. So Ryan Sieg and Who Be Lexipulse, and with that, your top 3 in points are all out of this race. And this race has now turned the championship fight on its head as the top championship runners unable to avoid the accident. And also Winston involved as well. Oops. Well, I want to see the pace car miss its way through the wreck. Yeah, luckily the pace car doesn't have to abide by the laws of physics. Wow, and just like that, all top 3 drivers in points are all out of this race. And this race has now completely changed and has put the championship fight on its head. Drivers who we thought had a legit shot at winning this championship are now in jeopardy. So then, let's now watch what happens on this caution flag. I'm just going to reverse back a little. Actually. Alright, so here are the leaders of the race. I tell you what, this is a weird day for Tababa Motorsports. So now both their points running drivers are out of the race. BioColumn Films, though, they're 2 part-timers, though, are still in it. Texas has actually been up here now. And same goes for BioColumn Films. So that issue comes up per road, so these 2 are going to stay out. Actually, all the front runners staying out. It's just those got involved in the accident staying out, or coming in, I mean. BioColumn Films up a few spots thanks to that. A lot of cars out of this race, but most importantly, so Haley was actually the first to leave this race, so he's going to get credit for finishing last. However, his 2 closest competitors, Ryan Sieg and Who Be Lexipulse, are not going to score much points than he is. Actually, Who Be Lexipulse is currently the highest ranked driver in the points. And if this actually keeps going like the way it is, it will actually stay that way. In fact, Who Be Lexipulse will actually gain a slightly bigger points advantage. But the problem is, though, is that a lot of the guys who, let's just say this, there were a number of other drivers in this race who weren't exactly out, but were a bit of a distance away from the top 3 drivers in the point standings. As long as the higher, well, just about anyone in the playoffs, as long as they sit in trouble, they have a pretty good shot at closing that gap and running for the title, as the season is almost over. But it's never too late to go for that title. So with all that in mind, let's see. I don't think anyone's going to pick here, so let's fast forward just a little bit. It looks like that everyone's just going to stay out here. Actually, this is it. This is the whole field. I just realized. So can't drive. At the moment, it's actually the last car base. He's actually in 3rd second. He's going to move up a couple spots though once everything cycles through. Because everyone, all those guys were just above the accident on pit road now. So now we're just sorting out the running order. So can't drive is currently your last placed running driver. So now you have Noah Gregson and Can't Drive, who initially went a lap down. They're going to be up here. So now we have 28 drivers, which is still a lot. 28 is still a pretty big number. So that is 28 drivers still on the lead lap and with a chance at this race. So let's fast forward just a little bit. And pace car coming down pit road. And green flag back in the air in Kansas. Ooh, the top 2 on the high line get a pretty good launch. Anything Alfredo? Actually, the whole line gets a pretty decent launch. Greg Graff, he's actually the last place driver in the running. So this is actually a pretty good chance for him to claw back that lost ground. But Matthew Brown, currently the highest running playoff driver, and actually currently the highest running regular series driver. Ahead of him is Anthony Alfredo, who is not running for points. As you know, the Siemens National Series, part-time drivers not eligible for points. But of course, Matthew Brown is eligible for points, and so is Greg Graff. And here comes Texodus, who as of this moment is still looking for his first win in the Siemens National Series. Meanwhile, it's still racing on up front. Here comes Greg Graff with an inside move on Matthew Brown. Unable to complete the move though when he stays in 3rd. Matthew Brown doing pretty good here. And here comes DJ Reed, who's now managed to get up here. Here comes Hennek, Casey Nagle, a couple other playoff drivers. And DJ Reed trying to spoil the playoff party. A lot of cars up here actually with blue banners. Of course, don't get them confused. Some drivers are playoff drivers, whereas others are just part-timers. That being said, though, Texas is running all the playoff races as actually Texas in the 1-2-4. This would normally be Russell David's car, but Russell David no longer allowed to race in the Siemens National Series as we're now in the playoffs. So Texas has the 1-2-4 call to himself for the rest of the season. Guess we can have a bit of discussion here as there's not a ton of stuff happening at the moment. While listen by, we're going to be 10 laps to go in the race. So 10 to go in Kansas. Anthony Alfredo doing a pretty good job here holding his, or defending his position over Matthew Brown. But how long can he do it for? How long until Matthew Brown decides to go for it? Well, here comes Can't Drive. This could impact the race a little bit. And yes, Wills driving to brake check a little bit. That has allowed Anthony Alfredo to run away with it as the rest of the field behind us seems to have no idea how to get around Can't Drive, but they eventually are able to successfully do it. And actually, the whole bottom line here has all gone around. Now the field's all bunched up, except for Anthony Alfredo, who's now got a bit of a gap on the leaders. Everyone else has to catch back up. Here comes Greg Graff on Matthew Brown. Two by two for most of this field now. Can't Drive has definitely messed up this race, but that's only one of two lap cars. Noah Gregson still have to overtake him. And here comes Can't Drive. Here comes Texodus. I don't know why I confused him with Can't Drive, as Texodus can drive. As he is currently now moving up to third. And Texodus in third place. But now the leaders have to catch back up to Anthony Alfredo, as Alfredo got that run on them. Thanks to Can't Drive, but we still have another lap down car to get around. And that is Noah Gregson. He is not too far up the racetrack. And yep, it has done it. It has slowed up Anthony Alfredo. And just like that, the rest of the field is back up on top. Or are they? Ooh, only for a little bit though, as Greg Graff, who was just running in second, is now getting caught up behind Noah Gregson. And that has put Texodus up into second. And with 5 laps to go, can Texodus run down Anthony Alfredo at scores first for the Siemens National Series? But also Anthony Alfredo, another driver who wants that first Siemens National Series win. But Texodus really wants that win. And Texodus really wants that win because, you know, he's seen Balcon Films go to victory lane. Balcon Films has gone to victory lane multiple times in the Siemens National Series. Meanwhile, Texodus has gone to victory lane no times. And with 4 to go, trying to change that today, as Texodus is right behind Anthony Alfredo. Here they come on the back straightaway. They're now all bunched up. Three laps to go. Here comes Matthew Brown, trying to make a move on he texted us. Can't do it though. Henne though, also trying to go inside. Any more lap cars? The answer is, Can't Drive again. 2 laps to go. Can't I mess up this race? As it is almost over. Two part-timers hungry for their first win. And here we come. It is Can't Drive who could mess things up, but we're coming to the white flag. And Texodus goes high. Matthew Brown goes low. And the whole top lane is now slowed up here. And that includes Henne losing spots now. And here we go, final lap. Anthony Alfredo has quite a gap over Matthew Brown now. As we come through the final corner. And off of turn 4, Anthony Alfredo will win the day in the Orio 250 at Kansas. Right as the white flag came out, Can't Drive impacted this race one last time. Texas was right there. But ultimately, nobody could stop Anthony Alfredo. And as a result, Anthony Alfredo is now a winner in the NRL Siemens National Series. What a race. And of course, they're not just the battle for the lead, but the battle for the championship has now been turned on its head thanks to this race. So then, let's view who finished where. So Anthony Alfredo with the win today. First career win for Anthony Alfredo in the Siemens National Series. Matthew Brown comes home in second. And Matthew Brown, your highest running playoff driver. This race is going to really help Matthew Brown in the title fight. Michael Annett, who I didn't really mention up until now. Michael Annett comes home in third. And Greg Graff in fourth. Greg Graff, the last running driver in the playoffs. I don't think he'll be the last running driver after this race. We'll have to see, though. Casey Ayako comes home in fifth. Another pretty good day for him. Ed Wood in sixth. Texas, who was almost there, but ultimately falls back to seventh thanks to Can't Drive. Jebberman comes home in eighth. Henry in ninth. Henry, another driver, not doing so well. This race will help him out. DJ Reed comes home in 10th. Ross Stain in 11th. Cody Goforth in 12th. Chase Briscoe in 13th. E. John Whittaker in 14th. Nathan Lamont in 15th. Brand Jones in 16th. Shane Lamb in 17th. Sebastian Coquelin in 18th. Emily in 19th. Bob Pointer 20th. Riley Earps 21st. Ernie Irvin 22nd. Boncon Films was able to jump back to 23rd, so not bad. But Boncon Films was never really a factor in this race after he pitted. I don't know why he pitted. I don't know. Second for Sports here comes home in 24th. Just not got 25th. Freeberg in 26th. Anthony Logan, who did finish the race but did it very poorly, comes home in 27th. So Anthony Logan. I mean, it's not really going to help or hurt anybody. This race is really just going to just compress the point standings in the playoffs. This is going to just compress the standings quite a bit. As well as I've also Murray in 28th. Can't Drive in 29th. No Grace in 30th. Huber Legs Post, your points leader, coming home in 31st. Not a good race for him at all. So it's going to be interesting to see where Huber Legs Post ends up. Toss Massey in 32nd. Jose Mills 33rd. Harrison Byrne 34th. Keith Church in 35th. Brian Stick, another driver who was high up the list, is now back down. Well, not back down. I don't know where he's point standings, but finished 36th today. Dane Blue 37th. Austin Cedric 38th. John Doe 39th. Winston 40th. Miles Hunter 41st. And Justin Haley in last. So, yeah. Safe to say that today was a very interesting race for playoff contenders. And interesting, not in a good way, as a lot of them, well, I mean, it was interesting in a good way for some drivers, but in a bad way for others. So, again, I'll be honest, I'm not too sure who's going to be where, because I haven't actually seen the points yet. But, of course, I'll be flashing up the points on the screen, as per always, so you guys will be able to see who's going to be where. So that's it for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in whatever I make next.